Can you all hear?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe I'm not that loud. I want to do one more little advertisement. I just was appointed to the faculty of something called the Universal Institute for Advanced Mediumship Studies, run by Reverend John Lillick out of Ohio. John is a physical medium, and he and I are very good friends, and he asked me to join the faculty there. And the website is called that, www.Universal Institute for Advanced Mediumship Studies, if you'd like to go look it up. It's going to be a fascinating place to be. I'd like to talk to you this morning about making peace with time. How many of you have trouble with time? I know nobody does except me, right? You know, forever people have been grappling with time, from Sophocles all the way down to people like Ben Franklin and Mick Jagger. The wisdom has been passed down to us. Time is the stuff life is made of. Time is of the essence. Time flies, especially when you're having a good time. Time is relative. Time is on my side. Time is a cruel thief. On and on and on. We measure time. We lose time. We kill time. We're strapped for time. And that last sentiment is what I hear from a lot of people. We're strapped for time. I don't have enough time. I never have enough time to do what I need to do or what I want to do. It's not surprising that a lot of us feel that way. The pace of life today is so much more frantic than it used to be. I was talking with someone this morning about how the technology has just gone whoosh, and the rest of us are saying, wait a minute, I'll be there, let me catch up. And, you know, the pace of life is so unimaginably faster than it was in the time of Moses or Confucius. Trying to keep up with time, with the Joneses, with whatever you want to try to keep up with today, just takes a huge toll on us. It shows up in our suppressed immune systems. It shows up in stress. It shows up in high blood pressure, heart attacks, stroke, insomnia, digestive problems. I know none of you have any of those things, because I don't have any of those things. But anyway, stress contributes to our inability to think clearly, to make really competent decisions. It contributes to short tempers. Anybody got short temper out there? Huh? All you Irish people like me. And it contributes to sloppy work. As a result, we have more everyday problems. We have arguments at work and home. We have car accidents as we speed down the road yakking on our cell phones. Many of us not yakking on the cell phones, texting while we're trying to drive. My significant other just goes bazooka, because he goes down the road and they're stopped at green lights and they're talking on their phone. He says, put your phone away! You know, so we have all kinds of things that are caused by that stress. Stress contributes to things like gray hair. I decided I wasn't going to discuss gray hair because my hair's been white since I was about 25. I have less of it now, but it was the same color. I used to tell my children I was a blonde. Long-term stress can even rewire the brain, and it leaves us more vulnerable to anxiety and depression and weight gain and all kinds of terrible things. And these days, when I talk to young people, I taught high school for 36 years, so I know something about talking to young people. And I still keep in touch with Rollins. I teach classes there when my professors call. And I forget, having been a student in the master's program, I never pay a whole lot of attention to my own age. And I'm sitting in a classroom with people that are 25 and 22, and I think, I'm 25 and 22. Well, it's not quite so. And so I get mixed up about that. They don't even have time for cell phone calls and emails. They prefer to text because of the instant response. And that new technology has allowed for our perception of time to be altered. And as a result of that technology, a lot of us feel that not only that we don't have more time, we have less time. Many of us feel that the modern efforts to save time have backfired. They bring problems of their own. Our technological advances and constant availability have leisure and work. See, we're always available. People can track you wherever you are. You can't hide, you know. They can always find you. There's only one way that I can really hide. And that's if I take this whole thing and turn it off. Then when they call, they wonder, is he all right? What's wrong? Why does he have his phone off? And then they come knocking on the door. My children have been known to drive from Claremont to Orlando to see if I'm okay. Gee. We end up wasting precious minutes stuck on the phone with somebody on the other side of the world trying to figure out how to reset the computer brain in our dryer or stove or a machine that we have. It takes time to learn online banking, connect with friends on Facebook, to master the complexities of smartphones and GPS units, and to download a bestseller to an e-reader. When Excel crashes and the work is lost after we spent hours entering the data for a deadline, our blood pressure goes, you know, we're just going crazy over that. There's even technology to fix the stress caused by technology. How about that? Don't get me wrong. I think we live in an amazing time. It's as miraculous or as futuristic as anything the Jetsons or Star Trek ever thought about. I love being able to talk on my laptop face-to-face with somebody on the other side of the world. I think that's totally cool. Or I email somebody in England and they mail me right back. I was up at 3 o'clock one night and here came a question about a quote that I had used in my thesis. I fired it right back. And she said, how did you know this answer so fast? I said, I used it. She thought that was great. The problem for a lot of us is trying to figure out how to disconnect from all that intensity for some peace and quiet. It's not easy to do. Like I said, I turn off my cell phone. That helps a lot. Much of the time, stress in our lives comes from trying to accommodate every single person who wants a piece of our day. Do you suffer from that disease to please? Trying to satisfy all those who would like a little piece of your day? Many of us are torn between the desire to be generous with our time and the need to conserve our own energy. It takes a few seconds to read a 140-character Twitter message, but the cost of the total distraction is far more than that. The thinner we spread ourselves, the more we skitter over the surface of our lives, never going deep. And since we can be tracked down just about anywhere, anytime, it seems there's literally no escape. I want to show you how to coexist peacefully with the inevitable, inexorable march of time. As a spiritualist, I've studied the question of how to live authentically and joyfully in the present moment and how to remain mindful, centered, and harmonious no matter what challenges come my way. Now I want to tell you, that's not easy. Don't think I'm going to give you a pill to swallow and it will make it all go away and make it all just fine. Not going to work that way. In a way, the spiritual life is a profound study in time and time management, because the better you manage your mind and spirit, the less hold time has on you. Every moment can be lived fully, free, unconditioned, and every moment holds infinite possibilities and opportunities for a fresh start. Every moment of heightened consciousness is precious beyond price, for awareness is the primary currency of the human condition. Spiritualism is one way to study how to live fully and authentically, not only in our earthly time zone, but in what I call spiritual standard time. It's different from Eastern daylight. Okay? It's the dimension of the timeless time, wholly, totally, now. I've had people ask me for help in finding their spiritual center in their out-of-control lives, to show how we can discover a more calm, vibrant, gratifying way of life. I was just with a very dear friend on Thursday night. She was part of my master's group, and we meet once a month at a restaurant in downtown Winter Park, just to have a few drinks and a little bit of food and chat. And this lady and her husband haven't paid a mortgage payment in over 36 months. They are dealing with lawyers. They are dealing with banks. Her husband was out of work for 18 months, got a job, lost it, is unemployed again. She has one income. She's a teacher, which means that no matter how she feels, and she's got a form of mononucleosis, which means that she doesn't feel good most of the time. And yet she's got to go to work so they have some income. And she says, would you pray for me? Would you tell me what to do? And I started outlining for her something where every day you sit down with a plan. And at the end of the day, what did you accomplish? If you accomplished one small increment in that plan, at the end of the day you can say you've made some progress. That's a use of time. And it's being in the moment, and it's not trying to say, oh, it's all the hope is lost, because she's in a place of real desperation. It's really hard. And I tried to help her that way and give her something at least concrete to work on, so that at the end of the day and at the end of 2 days, at the end of a week, she can say, well, we were here, now we're here. Maybe it's only that far, but we came that far. And that gives you hope, that we can move that much. One of the main obstacles to making peace with time is that we tend to experience time in a linear fashion. We keep moving forward, doing and accomplishing things, rather than just being. We are human beings, not human doings. You can quote me on that. It costs us dearly to live only on that linear axis. We lose connection with our deepest and most authentic selves, often mistaking that forward movement for meaning and purpose. We adapt to a faster and faster tempo that keeps us feeling busy, but rarely with a sense of accomplishment. Staggering forward on that treadmill of events, we gather momentum until we lose any sense of how to stop. It reminds me of that scene on West Wing where C.J. Craig got a message while she was on the treadmill in the gym, and she stopped walking and started to read the message, and all of a sudden feet were in the air. And she was going, ah! And the message went, and the feet went, and everything. And we get so busy that we literally fall off the treadmill. If we cultivate clarity, detachment, and equanimity, we can learn to remain still and calm in the middle of all this torrent of commitments, no longer allowing our overscheduled lives to rob us of the time we need to recalibrate and connect to the natural world, to ourselves, and to each other. For time moves on, whether we are hurtling through it or savoring it. That's your choice. You can hurtle through time or you can savor it. The big transformations take place outside our daily awareness, until a stark reminder catches us up. Hearing the new crack in the voice of a teenage son. How many of you that have children remember when your children's voices changed, that first time you heard it? Or perhaps seeing the unwelcome surprise of gray hair. When I was 12, I brushed my hair back and 2 gray hairs went at me. I thought, what are those, antenna? Or how suddenly it becomes winter. Did you ever know? Or how suddenly it becomes spring. Oh, you walk outside one day, oh, hello. I hadn't noticed you were changing. We've lost so much of our connection with the natural world that it doesn't seem to matter to many of us whether it's day or not, day or night, hot or cold, summer or winter. It's especially difficult, and I did this just one summer in my life, if you work a night shift. I don't know if any of you do that, but I worked the 11 to 7 trick at a convenience store. I was always under artificial light. I was never out in the sunshine. It was a mess for about 90 days there. It took a whole lot of recalculation to get back in the world. We control the climate at home and in our car, in the office, in the mall. We watch ball games at night under artificial lights. We eat food with no regard for the season or the source. As a vegan, I'm very aware of sources of food now. Where does it come from? What kind of energy does it have? The artificial means to keep rhythms and cycles of nature from us, further removing us from indicators of time passing. We use up our limited natural resources, watch the ozone layer thin and glaciers melt, and we hear about the extinction of species after species. And it seems that the earth itself is gravely impermanent, the victim of time and change, as surely as we all are. Right now, you may be struggling with the limited perspective of experiencing time in a linear way. I can't do two things at once. How many times have we all said that? You may find yourself saying, there's only 24 hours in a day. Well, that's probably true. Even spiritual seekers like us wonder how they can possibly find enough time to meditate, study, and pray. Our lives are crammed. Is your life crammed?
Oh, yeah.
I think our calendars are full. Ever since I changed my life back in November, when my Ascended Master Guide told me that if I did that, my life would explode, it has exploded. My calendar is full. I'm scheduled out to the summer of 2013. It's crazy. Also, I'm one of those people that believes the world's not going to end on December 21st, 2012. Okay? So anyway, it seems something's got to give in order to allow for spiritual development. And it's got to allow us to break out of a linear mode. But that's not how it works. We don't need to find that impossible extra pocket of time in the day. Rather, we need to incorporate the spacious outlook of our spirituality into every minute of our life by reimagining and reframing the expansive time we have. 2,500 years ago, there was a great religious leader. His name was Gautama Buddha. And he said that if we directly perceive the actual difficulties and sorrow of life, we practice to achieve enlightenment as if our hair was on fire. I have a friend who's Irish, and she always tells me when she's angry, her hair is on fire. I don't know if any of you experienced your hair being on fire. I haven't had that experience yet. Mine was on fire, and I'm less than I do now. A simple definition of enlightenment is a deep flash of awakening to the knowledge that we are much more than our time and space-bound material selves, living in a material world. Sounds like Madonna, doesn't it? Some of us awaken to enlightenment by grace, seemingly without effort. All of a sudden, boom, it's there. But most of us stay obsessively stuck in the past or future, running our mental trains backward and forward, on that track every minute of the day. We have a limited view of ourselves and our capacity, and nothing changes, nothing can change until we get off the train. Imaho is the Tibetan word for hallelujah. We can stop the train. Everybody say, yay, we can stop the train. Spiritual wisdom teaches that the minutes and hours of our days do not merely march from future to present to past, looming, engulfing us, passing us by forever. Rather, each moment is intersected by a realm of infinite spaciousness and timelessness, known as the eternal now. This is the precious awakened dimension that I call spiritual standard time, and it's available to every one of us in every instant. That same great religious leader said, let go the past, let go the future, let go what is between, transcending all things of time. With your mind free in every direction, you will not return to birth and aging. When we are in touch, being only in the present moment, only with what is, instead of what we regret, fear, or anticipate, our sense of time limits in time will no longer have negative power over our lives. In the 14th century BCE, a pharaoh wrote, "He who neglects the present moment throws away all he has." This is something we need to remember every day. We can't afford to wait to learn that lesson. It's now or never, as always. Be present in this moment as if it's the only moment. This breath is the only breath. That's how we meditate. That's how we lead mindful and centered lives, and that's how we stay in the now. This is how we begin to make peace with time and with ourselves. In spiritual standard time, there are no small-minded contortions over a mentally constructed world. It's a place of being, not a place of doing. It's a much vaster dimension than the one most of us usually live in. When you learn to live in spiritual standard time, bringing nowness awareness into your life, you'll be much more present and engaged in interactions. You'll be much better able to negotiate the rough patches, sensing when to assert yourself and when to withdraw. Above all, you won't fear that life will pass you and your loved ones by, but you will recognize that we each have our own pace and our own way of blooming. You'll feel about your ability in a more clear way to discover happiness and fulfillment. Nowness awareness is the secret of enlightenment and self-realization. You'll see that living in spiritual standard time is in no way antithetical to modern life, but it gives you tools to live it sanely and joyfully. Neither planning ahead nor reminiscing about the past need obscure the clarity of our present awareness. If you're planning ahead, do only that. If you're remembering, do only that. We can look forward and back without fretting or obsessing or allowing concerns about the future to constrict freedom in the present. Think about it. Even contemplating the future or the past is a function of present awareness. We can always choose how to respond, what to do, how to live. We have always time to take a breath and begin again, revitalized, awake, and aware. We understand and connect with our own time, with our own nature. We will automatically slow down. When we slow down, time slows down as well. So we perceive that we have more of it. The more aware we are and the more quickly our minds process things, the slower they seem to occur, just as time seems to slow down on that first glorious autumn morning when the colors and the breeze come alive under our focused attention. We learn to experience a similarly heightened awareness every day. We then have more room to choose, reflect, attend, respond attentively, and make most of our time and the opportunities given by this magical life. We can learn to do things sensibly and sequentially when we're under pressure, turning off the harried mental chatter that makes us feel we must do several things at once. The more conscious we become of our key stressors and the unproductive habits we've developed around time, the closer we'll be to freeing ourselves from their net. A skillful relationship with the pace of life on this earth means that every choice, every action, every breath can be whole and complete. We can be fully, vibrantly present. This is the secret, hidden in plain sight if we only open our eyes to see it. If you follow some of my suggestions, you'll find your notions of time and self will start to undergo a change. You will evolve from darkness to light, from confusion to wisdom, from selfishness to unselfishness, from a separate self to your true divine spiritual self. This is the promise and the premise of the spiritual path, the miracle of genuine awakeness. In spiritual standard time, you will come to realize that in spite of your hectic days, you have much more time than you think. In fact, you have all the time in the world. Thank you.